Okay, welcome everyone to our co-webinar. We are here with Right Line and 10-minute trades. I'm Lee Goldstein. Let me know that you can hear me, please. And just type in where you're from and we're going to get started right now. So just let me know you can hear me. And please just type in where you're from and we are going to get started. But I've got to see a few people type in that you can hear me so I know that you can. Okay, very good. California, we've got Maine. Come on, folks. Let me know where you're from. I get a good idea what kind of audience we have. California again. Always lots of people from California. One of the most populated states, one of the biggest economies in the US. Okay, and Denver. Okay, welcome everyone. It's nice to see you here. Rory will be starting at 1:15 with his great presentation. And let's get cracking. I'm Lee Goldstein. We're going to talk about appointment-based trading, some of our best safe setups for these volatile markets. These markets are crazy when you're governing by tweet, random tariff off and on, every minute a new decision, reversing a previous, releasing social security numbers, it goes on and on. Creates volatility in the markets. So we've got to be prepared to deal with the volatility that's being created. Remember, please, that all the trades and everything we discuss is for educational purposes. It's possible to lose money trading, so trade money that you can afford to lose and be careful, please. Okay, so what do we do at 10-minute trades? Before we get into the meat, we'll do a little bit of the pre, so you understand exactly the way that we trade. We trade a method called appointment-based trading. We use futures, and the platform that we use is the NinjaTrader platform. So if you don't have NinjaTrader, you can't trade with our software. You can use other platforms to get guidance from the way that we trade, because most platforms do support a feature called chart trading, where you can move your orders around on the charts. And what we do initially, what our claim to fame was, our initial popular type of trading was bracket trading, where we would put an order above the current price and below the current price. And then when the event takes place or the news comes out, the market would either burst up or burst down. If it goes up, we get pulled in long. If it goes down, we get pulled in short. And that is a simple explanation of a bracket, a breakout trade. But over the years, we've done a tremendous amount of updating and upgrading to our software, and we have many, many more types of setups that are available. You could trade reversals. You could trade continuations. We have a system. We have JOBB software, which we're now calling NewsTrader, and we have a multitude of setups within that software. The reversal continuations are in that initial strategy that is loaded into NinjaTrader, and it becomes a part of NinjaTrader. So our software is actually three strategies: the magnet trade, the trap trade, and NewsTrader. And inside of the NewsTrader is what we used to call JOBB. The reversal continuations are in there, and many other setups for discretional trading or for news trading. You can do both with our software. We have what we look at as 5 important elements that make up our system. We have the weekly market mover, which is the WMM, which is our weekly schedule. The daily market mover is our daily trade report. That report, for instance, if you're trading this morning, we didn't trade the Canada retail report because it's a lousy report to trade. And let me show you why many times we are right. We know what we're saying. We did not have a room for the Canada retail news trade. Our research, and look, research occasionally is wrong. We're not 100% right. We were wrong on the Australia employment report this week. It had a very good move, but its history had been very bad moves for many months. So we don't trade it until it starts to behave better. But we've been watching Canada retail. We used to trade it years ago. And I looked at it this morning. We did not have a trade room because it hasn't been safe to trade, nor has it moved enough to give you a profit. So our software has a setup. Nevertheless, we have a setup because we watch this event month after month. We had orders just a mere 5 ticks above the current price, 5 ticks below the current price. And watch what happened. It's very interesting. There was a very quick, unsafe whipsaw. It went 10 ticks up and then immediately reversed. Had we traded this report, it would have been a losing trade because it filled us as it popped up and then the price went down. And the price didn't recover very much to the upside. You can see it's hanging around under where we got filled. So we made the right decision on Canada. And the idea of what we do is a tremendous amount of research on all these events. We're not looking at Fibonacci's. We're not looking at Elliott waves. We're looking at behavior of the event every single time that it is traded or every time the news is released. We study the events that we think are important and that we think will offer a profit. If they don't perform well, then we go on to other events and find the events that are performing the best. When we find the good ones, then we release our DMM, a daily market mover report. And our report shows our members how to trade the events. It has a suggested setup. That's our second element. So we have the weekly schedule, then we have a daily trade report that has potentially multiple events in that report. I've got natural gas storage here. I've got Thursday's unemployment claims. I've got the Bank of England's inflation report, all part of one DMM that our members get to study the day before the event so they can practice to trade, understand the event, decide whether or not they want to trade it. So that's one of our elements. That's element number 2. Element number 3, of course, would be trade room access. What would our system be if you couldn't come into the trade room, discuss the current market, make sure our settings are viable for the current market? What if the Fed is talking? What if there's tweets? What if there's who knows what kind of news is going to happen at the moment we're getting ready to trade? So it's extremely important to come into the trade room, discuss the event, go over the setups, talk about the instruments we're looking at, and make sure that we have the best way to do the trade for that particular event. And that's where our news trader software comes into play. And then the magnet trade software, which I'll go over that in a few minutes, and also our trap trade strategy. So once again, those are the 5 elements that make up our system. All of that added together is our what we call our pro membership. Then the WMM, the weekly schedule, looks like this. This was pretty recent, a July weekly schedule. It shows on the left the time the event we're looking at is going to take place. Then it shows what time our trade room opens. It shows the exact event. And of course, it also shows the instrument that we're thinking of trading. And most people don't realize this. It also shows whether or not we have a daily trade report for that event. Not every event that we trade has a report because some of our events are what we call trade room events. They're events that if you didn't come to the trade room, you wouldn't know about that event we're going to trade. There's too many things going on in the market that if you only trade when you have a report, you'd miss some really good things that are going on. Some of them might be new. Some of them might be events that you just can't easily quantize in a simple report, and you need to discuss them before you might want to trade them. So, yes, the weekly schedule has a ton of information, but obviously not everything. Now, I always send our weekly schedule to our members on Saturday or Sunday so they can get ready for the week ahead. And the importance of the schedule and the whole concept of the way we do things is we do things on a schedule. We don't sit in front of our computers for hours and hours and hours. We trade almost always on a schedule. Our magnet setup is a little bit different, but there are still very specific, smarter times that you could decide to try to take magnet trades. And again, I'll get into that in a few minutes. The daily market mover has a very interesting set of information on it. Of course, it's going to have the instrument that we're trading. This happens to be a grain report that we trade, the daily mover for the grain report. Very important info on the daily report would be the yellow line, which is usually our suggested setup. And then right below the yellow line is what has happened in this report previous times. So you can see how many winners did we have in a row before we got there for the next time. How many stops? Was it canceled? What were the moves? Was it a big move, a small move, a medium move? And then we have some text information about in the journal. That's like a mini journal. And then below that, we have commentary about the event that helps you to trade it. The three very important strategies, like I said, the News Trader software, Trap Trade, and Magnet Trade, are three strategies that install into NinjaTrader. They are a custom add-on. We have multiple setups in the software, and you can automate your trade entries. You can automate your targets. You can automate your stops in the sense that when you turn on a trade, sometimes you can just sit back and do nothing, or you can trade in a discretionary manner. The magnet trade, for instance, it can be completely automated or it can be partially automated where you decide when you want to get in. The trap trade is an automated entry, but you can manage it. Sometimes you have to manage it manually, and sometimes it will take you right out of a trade with an instant profit. Hey, sometimes it'll take you out of a trade with an instant loss. But obviously, we wouldn't be here if the losses were more than the profits. Our software is what we call an ATM. And an ATM is an automated trade management program. Now, when you use a platform, for instance, like TradeStation, or if you use a platform like NinjaTrader, you can program, they have a built-in little language that you could program what you want your trade to do. You can tell it, well, move my stops. You could tell it where to put your targets. You could tell it to how to automate the trade after you're filled. Well, our software does away with the need to learn that language. It's very easy to enter information into our software. And let me just turn off the slides for a second and I'll show you. So our software, like I said, it installs into the NinjaTrader platform, which you're seeing here right now. It installs so that all you do to turn it on is right-click a chart, click on the word strategy, and then our software is right here on the left. If you double-click News Trader, it will show you all of the possible options you can enter into News Trader. And then a first-time person looks at all of that and they get worried and they go, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to enter all those things in. But the beauty of it is you only have to enter a couple of things. When I said we have different types of setups, so a trade type, we have a breakout trade, we have a range trade. A range trade is a trade that allows you to create a trade based on time. So there's lots of traders out there that love to trade a breakout, for instance, of the first half hour of trading. You can very easily, with our software, start at 9:30 at the market open, watch the market create a range until 10 o'clock, and then you can tell the software, well, enter the market if we go above that 30-minute range by 10 ticks, or go short the market and break down the market, sell, if we go below the range by 30 ticks. So you can easily set up different range trades based on all different times. You can do numbers of bars. We have colored zone trading where you can set up specialized zones. And we also have built-in reversal continuation trades. In less than a minute, you could set up a very simple reversal continuation. All you need to reverse or continue is how many positions, how many contracts, a target, and a stop. So for instance, here, positions one size, maybe I'll trade 2 contracts only. On a reversal, I'll make everything else 0 except for my target. I'll have, let's say, a 30-tick target, and let's say, just for fun, I'll have a 30-tick stop. Everything else before I get there is essentially a 0. So I've got 2 contracts in position 1, a 30-tick target, and let's make it a 25-tick stop. Then all I need to do, I don't have to worry about any of these other options. I just tell the software what account do I want to trade it in, and I can label the trade, which is very important. Normally, if it's a reversal continuation, that's what I'll call it, and I will usually identify the instrument that I'm trading. GC, reversal continuation. Then all I have to do is apply it and okay it, and the trade will show up in the control panel of NinjaTrader. Then when I enable the trade by just checking the check mark, you'll notice here on the chart, I get 2 buttons, instant long and instant short. I can watch the market and I can make a decision. Well, especially after news or right after the market open or before the news or before the market open. Those are very, very interesting times to trade. I might have a reversal taking place right after the news. I hit the button, instant short, and it puts me in the market immediately, instant short. It honors my stop and puts the stop on the chart. And it also, if you get filled, it puts your target. And of course, you're going to get filled because it's an instant short. So now I'm in the market short. I've got my stop. I can move it, shrink it, make it bigger, make it smaller, and I've got my target. And I can make that bigger if the market starts going my way, or I could shrink it down if it starts going against me. Very, very simple, quick way to trade right after the news, right after an event, right after someone's talking. Create these great, great opportunities for profit. If you're a good discretionary trader, this is a very simple way to set up a quick and safe trade because you've got your stop, you've got your target, you're not trading in an unsafe manner by not having your stops and targets. It's a planned out, intelligent way to trade. So let me go back to my slides, but I also wanted to show you one other thing. I talked about different types of trade setups that we have in our software. When you click on advanced trade types, we have a ton of other setups. Ranges with colored zones, one-click range trade, squeeze plays, trap squeezes, opposite of breakouts, a manual reverse breakout. All of these different ways to trade, we feel like we've covered all the bases. If you don't want to trade the news, our software is still a fantastic product to use for managing your trades. All right, let's get cracking because time goes fast in these webinars. So we talked about how the software is an automated trade management. Also important to understand the way that we trade is a very simple, time-based, schedule-based way of trading. You can schedule your trades on specific days up to a month in advance. Why do I love this type of trading? Because I don't really feel like sitting in front of the computer all day long. I want to be in the market as little as possible. because the less you trade, the better you'll do. The more you're in the market, you have a tendency to overtrade and revenge trade, and you don't want to do that. So quickly, what triggers an appointment-based trade are three major categories: high impact economic reports like GDP, jobs reports. Like, look at this jobs report that we traded. This was a July jobs report we were trading in our cash account. One of our favorite trades. It's also a family money trade. That means that if I was trading my family's money, I would recommend they take this trade. We have a setup for gold. In July, we traded gold on this report. We made literally an instant, almost $2,200 in an instant. We caught that burst down on the move, and that was a jobs report. We also caught a move down on bonds. And if you noticed, micros, gold also moved. So high impact economic reports move markets. Big company earnings reports. We constantly trade earnings using futures. One of our favorite earnings reports has been NVIDIA. NVIDIA earnings has been a great earnings trade. We know exactly what time NVIDIA releases their earnings. We bracket the earnings. A beautiful, beautiful $900 profitable NVIDIA trade. More often than not, earnings are fantastic to trade. And also, you can use our methodology to trade market opens, closes. Around opens and closes are great ways to trade. We love this type of trading. We think it is the absolute best way to trade. Okay? There's always hundreds of triggers within these three categories. Now, just give me a heads up. I assume everyone can still hear me. I'm getting one person who's saying he can't hear. Let me just give him a hand and just tell him to log in and out. Okay. Hundreds of triggers are created by these categories. So you can pick these events using the calendars that are out there. That's the way you find these events. ForexFactory.com, investing.com, financialjuice.com. They also have a squawk box that tells us the news in our headset. Okay? Those are aids that you can use to help you trading events. The key to our system is we study and look for the best of the best events. Those are the ones we always trade. We call them family money trades. You can trade in a prop account. You can trade in a cash account. Just check that your prop company will let you trade news events. Almost all of them these days will, but they all do have very specific rules. So make sure you pay attention to their rules. One very important thing to understand about prop trading is don't get attention brought to your trading. Keep your wins and losses within reasonable amounts. If you have a $2,000 win and then most of your other trades are $100 wins, they're probably not going to approve that because you're going to wind up not taking the proper risk for the majority of your trades. You want to have consistency, $200, $300, $500 winners. And if you keep it consistent, you don't give them a reason to look at your account. And when they don't look at your account, when you request money, there's a better opportunity they're going to agree to it. So it's important to keep that in mind. Now, look, sometimes you can pass an evaluation in one day, and they'll let you do it, but they're stricter once you pass the eval. So keep that in mind. Trading volatility is what I wanted to talk about today. So one of the main things that we do when you're trading the breakouts are hardest in times of super volatility. And we do have a lot of that volatility today. So it's important to have alternative choices if you feel the market is too volatile for trading breakouts. One of our favorite ways of trading volatility are the trap trades. A trap trade, again, don't forget it's a separate strategy that you load into NinjaTrader. With the trap trade, we are expecting that when we get filled we want to move in the opposite direction of the market. So if the market goes up on a trap trade, we're going to sell the market. And if the move goes down, we're going to buy the market. And that does a couple of things. The first thing that it does, it removes almost all of the slippage from the trade. Now, when there's a monstrously fast move, even in a trap trade, there can be slippage. But anytime you're entering the market in the opposite direction that the market's moving, you're reducing your slippage, because if you have a short on and the market hits that short, you're not trying to go long when the market's shooting through. So there's a much better opportunity that that order is going to get filled. And let me show you what we mean by a trap trade so you can understand. Our members, the funny thing about our trap trade is when you first see it and when you first experience the type of trade that it is, it's easy to get scared from the trade, because what happens if the market goes up, you're now in short, and the market hasn't reversed yet? Because the whole idea of the trade is we want to take the trade when the reversal takes place. So sometimes people get very scared and they feel like they're going to lose on the trade. But remember, when we take that trap trade, when we send out the setup, it's because we are completely comfortable that this event is going to reverse. So we've started a new series on Instagram that we're going to also put it on our YouTube channel. And we're just doing news trading tips. And one of the first videos that I made was Canada CPI. Canada CPI is a trap trade. So here's what happens on that trade. We put 2 orders below this orange arrow, and that's our current price, the orange arrow, and we put 2 orders above the current price. The market shoots up and it fills us short. And I was trading this in my Apex account. Now, if it keeps going, then it will fill both my orders. So in this particular case, I had a lot of faith that this trade was going to reverse. So I traded an extra. I added an extra contract to my first entry. That would make it so that I had a very high probability of getting 2 contracts filled on my first entry. And the market did exactly what I thought. It shot up and then it reversed very quickly. You could see it shoots up. I'm instantly in a profit, almost in a nanosecond. There's the price. It shoots up, just misses my stop by a tick or 2, immediately reverses. I can then bring my stop to safety so that if the reversal continues, I can trail my stop and keep making money on this reversal. In this particular case, you could see I trailed a little bit. I trailed a little bit more, and then it changed direction and took me out, but not after we had a very, very multi-$100 profitable trade based on a reversal. It's exactly what we expected to happen. Let me show you one of our members' videos. One of our members, Doc from the Villages, always sends us videos. He's a very successful trader. He's been trading with us for many years. He was trading. The price goes up on his trade, and it was a $2,800 trade. This was a breakout on, I believe it was CPI. $2,800 trade on CPI. Sometimes a trap trade can also be a profitable breakout. That's an amazing thing. You could have 2 setups that both work, but very often one setup is preferable to the other. We have a report that everybody knows called the PPI report, the Producer Price Index. We send to our members 2 different approaches. We have a YM breakout and we have a gold trap trade. I always prefer the trap trades, especially in volatile markets. Here we go in March. 5 seconds before the news is released, our orders go on the chart. This is the gold chart. We've got orders, 2 orders above, 2 orders below the orange arrow, which is our current price. When the news comes out, there's a burst to the upside. It fills me short immediately, and the reversal has started to take place. I cancel that extra order. If you notice, there's an order in the way of my stop because it only filled my first order. I'm in the market, I'm very profitable, but I can't physically move my stop because there's an order in the way because it didn't get filled. We have a cancel button. You just cancel that order. I move my stop to safety. And now, no matter what happens on this trade, I cannot lose money. I made money on that trade. That was the PPI, a trade that the brokers raise margins on because they feel it's too volatile to trade. Now, obviously, if it were too volatile to trade, we warn our members and we tell them, look, we have a great setup for this trade and it's been working very well, but be mindful that you could blow up your account in a prop account if it doesn't go right, because they have significant limitations on some of their daily trading. You have to trade with an open eye on the truth. We always tell the truth and we always are very honorable in our trade room. And of course, we want everyone to know what their risks are. But these PPI reports have been working really well as trap trades. Here's another one. Let me get right to the end of it. This was February's. And we also, I'll show you. So we had another gold trade. That's what we trade on PPI. Price exploded up. A lot of them look alike, but it's not the exact same trade. Then it started dropping down. I canceled that order, trailed my stop. They do go long. Trust me, they do. In this case, the news was very on the green side, which tends to push gold down. And that's what happened. The YM, you could see it had a kind of a low liquidity burst up. And it's one of the reasons I'm not a phenomenal lover of the YM. But on that event, let's see if it worked. I can't tell without seeing what my profit was before that trade. And it did give us a profit of almost a couple of $100 also. Those are the trap trades. Let me show you one more because it's an event most people are afraid to trade. It's the event in my life that I lost more money on it than any other event I ever traded. And it was in the trade room in front of all of our members. Years ago, I had a horrible FOMC breakout trade. I tried to revenge trade it. I doubled my loss. It was a nightmare. And I did it in front of all of our members. I still, of course, you can't let one horrible experience make you stop trading. Eventually, of course, we made all the money back. The FOM statement is one of my favorite trades, even though it's one of the most volatile, scary events to trade. We traded it this week. I told our members that we had a trap trade that tested positive for more than a year of events on every event. Every event, it tested positive. We also had an NQ breakout that tests positive about 50% of the time. I traded the trap trade in my prop account. 2 orders above the market, 2 orders below, waiting for that reversal to take place. It was instant. I was pulled into the market. I was patient. I just waited. I got ready to move my stop to safety, and boom, it hit my target. We made over $800 on that trade in less than 16 seconds. Any person that traded the trap trade with us made money on that trade. And the NQ hit its first target and then did a very, very fast reversal. It was not as good an instrument to trade. And that's what our testing showed us. And that's why we traded the trap trade. So again, the trap trade is a fantastic way to trade volatile markets especially when research has shown that there's a high probability of a reversal taking place on the event. We created a new strategy this year called the magnet trade. It's probably been, maybe it's even more than a year now. So, what is the magnet trade? So, first, you have to define what's a magnet. Every chart that you look at, if you set your charts up the simple way that my charts are set up, if you notice, there's not a lot of clutter on my charts. We have the VWAP, which we love. We have pivots. And my favorite magnets of all, high of day and low of day. The red dotted line is our low of day, and the green dotted line is our high of day. Those are magnets. Why are they magnets? Areas on a chart that many traders look at are areas where lots of orders get placed. Those orders tend to pull price into those levels. So those levels become magnets for price. Why do you think indicators like Fibonacci's work? Because so many people use them. So many people know the level of, say, a 50% retracement or a 33% retracement. Those are magnets. Magnets are areas on the chart that pull price, but they are also your exit. A magnet is a trade that exits at the magnet. So for instance, if I have a low of day magnet trade, I'm going to write a program that lets me trade the entry before I get to the low, and it's going to take me out at the low or as it shoots through the low. Look at what gold did this morning. It was a perfect magnet trade. I hope I can find it. Let me see where I put it. Give me a second, folks. It was just an absolutely perfect magnet this morning. Gold was just falling apart this morning, and I noticed that it found the low of day. And why, let me just see why I don't see my video. So give me a second. I really want to show you this morning. Here it is. Okay. So I noticed, I was watching it. So in full transparency, after I watched it, I just replayed the magnet. This is normally a trade that I would have taken live in my cash account or in my prop account, not even being in the trade room. A lot of times I'll just be getting ready for a webinar. I'll be watching the gold market because I love trading gold on magnets. And I'll see the trade setting up. And this morning you could see this trade was setting up. The market was already negative when I was looking at gold this morning. And it was significantly negative. It was more than $15 negative. And we have an indicator that's free and part of NinjaTrader that we teach all of our members how to put on their chart so they could look at any instrument and know just in a couple of seconds whether that instrument is bullish or bearish at that moment. Of course, there's a few other things you want to check. You don't want to rely just on that one indicator, but it is a phenomenal way to get a quick look at an instrument. I noticed gold was negative. This heavy line is my entry on the magnet trade, but our magnet trade has a fantastic feature called Enter Now. If I'm watching the market and I know my magnet is usually 10 to 12 ticks before we get to the magnet, because remember, the magnet's your exit. So I put my order on. I can also move that order just by grabbing it. When the market goes through that price, it fills me short, and then I get out somewhere near the magnet. But the beauty of the magnet is if I see this market start to sell off, I could enter my magnet early, or I could set the magnet up so it enters earlier. Watch what happens in this market. It was perfect. I turn the magnet on. I make it automatic. So if it goes through this line, it'll fill immediately. But I really felt this market was negative. So I went Enter Now. It put me in the market short way earlier. than it would have been if I waited for the regular magnet fill, which would have worked just as well. There is the move that gold made. It's getting ready to test the low. I would not be out of the trade because look where my order is. It's way below the magnet. The price was so negative. The squeeze, which is another indicator, we show our members how to look at the momentum. The momentum was heavily to the downside. No reason to exit this gold trade at any time yet. We're profitable pretty quickly. Now it's starting to change direction. I'm not worried. The squeeze is still working. Volume is high. Everything is shaping up. It's right near the open. It was only a couple of minutes before the market opened. The market was very negative in the pre-market. Gold, look at the burst. Very, very, very nice profit opportunity on a magnet. Those magnets happen on any chart that you like to trade. The S&P, the NQ, the YM, the Euro, the Yen. Every chart, as long as you create your charts the way so that you find the magnets, highs of days, lows of days, pivots, that's what you want to put on your chart to trade magnets. Over and over, these levels get tested. One of our favorite magnets, we love the VWAP. The VWAP gets tested all day long on some instruments, up and down. Very, very excellent way to trade. Let me show you a couple of other magnet trades. We have gold magnets, oil magnets. This was an oil storage day, so we were trading on a Wednesday. After the oil trade, and we often do trade after the news. Now, it looks like this particular day was probably a Thursday because oil was trading at noon. So it was a Thursday after a holiday. We noticed after the news, oil was pushing up. So we created a magnet in our prop account. Our entry, you could see, roughly 8 ticks above. We were looking really just for a quick 8 to 10 tick trade. We put it on in the room. Let's watch what happens. You see price is just chopping around a little bit. Then it starts moving towards our fill. We get our fill, and then price is going to shoot through because that's what magnet trades do very often. And boom, there's another magnet trade. That is magnet trades. You can completely automate a magnet trade. If you look at our gold trade, well, you know what? I'll show you another magnet trade. Just as I explained, one more thing about the strategy. So if you notice, there's a magnet entry button. If you click the magnet entry button, it puts the magnet trade in auto mode. So that once you set it up and just choose your target and put your stop in, the whole trade can be automated. You can decide if you're going to want to enter just short, because it also, if you're trading high and low magnets, there's an order on the upside. Sometimes it's so far away you don't have to think about it. But if you're close to both magnets, you have the ability to choose which direction. So there's no confusion. And in this particular case, it was completely automated. Now, I entered that trade early, remember? But otherwise, we would have been turned on right there, filled right there, and then it would have shot down, hit the target, and we'd be out of the trade when both our targets were hit. So it can be automated or it can be a discretionary entry. And that's one of the things that I really, really like about the magnet strategy. You can decide when you want to enter. This number here that you see, that's the indicator I was mentioning to you called net change display. That net change display indicator is free. It's part of Ninja. Everybody should use that on their charts, no matter what kind of system you're trading. When you enable the net change display indicator, it is so simple. All you have to do is double click it, right? It then gets enabled onto your chart. Just choose if you want it to show you ticks or points, which are the most common ways most instruments are calculated. gold would be points, and then put the location of the indicator on the bottom right of your charts. It's out of the way of most other items you might have on your chart. And there I can see gold is still negative today, $20. That's a lot, okay? So that helps us to trade directionally, which is very important to making magnet trade decisions, all right? Okay, what is the reverse continuation? I showed you that before. It's just a very, very simple methodology to put an instant long or an instant short on your chart so that after the news, if you want to take a quick reversal or you want to go the opposite way from the news, it's so simple to do it. And so many of our members make money after the news because in these volatile markets, sometimes it's better to wait for the result, wait for the spike, and then trade after the spike. So seeing is believing, folks. I've showed you a lot of our trades. Our members, I've got hundreds of screenshots from our members. I'm not going to spend this whole webinar showing you member screenshots. Just one really nice one. Ravi from Switzerland's been trading with us for more than a year now. He's had some great prop account success trading breakouts, reversals, all sorts of different trades in his prop account, mostly breakouts. And he's done very well with them. He has been paid by Apex trading our methodology, okay? I'm going to answer everybody's questions before I go, I promise. Here's what we're offering today. We would love if you join us for all of our upcoming trade rooms. Earnings season is coming up. It's very close. So you'll be able to take part in all of our earnings trades, all of our workshops and trade rooms. You'll get access to all of our software. You'll get access to the trade reports, the daily market movers. You'll get access to all of the everything, the pro trade room, the software, trap trade, magnet trade, reversals, everything that we offer, a full pro membership, trade in a prop account, trade in your cash account, trade wherever you want to trade in sim if you want. Just take our trial, check us out, $20.25 for 30 days. It auto renews for $97. That's our regular pro membership price. It's ridiculously reasonable. You can easily make $97 on one magnet trade. Just go to www.gopro25.com. It expires tomorrow at midnight. It's a phenomenal deal, okay? Enter now. The magnet trade goes in the direction that you tell it, Sandy, or it goes in the direction it's closest to the magnet. All right. And what you were seeing is one of the magnet trades I was showing you was a playback. That's why it said play. But some of the other ones I was showing you were in our live prop account. The one I showed about gold, I just noticed this morning. I wanted to show everybody a great magnet. And that was a playback. So you can go pro for just $20.25, everyone. www.gopro25.com. It does expire tomorrow night, not Sunday night, tomorrow night. Everything that you get, the news trader software, the magnet trade, you can learn our methodology by coming into the trade room and spending time with us. You choose the events you want to trade. All of our earnings trade rooms are included. Netflix is coming up. NVIDIA's coming up, all the earnings. Remember, we're using NinjaTrader. We're trading futures on earnings, trading futures, not the stocks. www.gopro25.com. I guide everybody in the room step by step how to use the software, how to enter the items until you know how to do it yourself. This is a steal. It really is just $20.25 for 30 days. And you can come into all the trade rooms that you want to. We're not holding back anything. So we hope you'll take advantage and join us. We love what we're doing. I love to teach it. We have some great systems, especially when the markets are crazy like they are today. So let me go through and see if I've missed any questions. If you have any other questions, please ask. I really don't see any questions today. So join us. We would love to have you in the room. www.gopro25.com. Expires tomorrow. Hey, Rory, did you get here? I just want to make sure that Rory is here.
Yes, I am here, Lee.
Okay, good. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Rory, and thanks so much for inviting me to the webinar today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much, Lee. $20 for 30 days. That's an offer, man. Thank you for making such a great offer for our members.
I'll see you
Beautiful.
next time.
Okay.